Good morning. My name is John Spain, and I'm the owner of Maine Art Hill in Kennebunk and Agunquit, Maine. Today, we're in our Spotlight Gallery, where we host a series of summer spotlights with a different artist featured each week for 10 weeks. This is the second in our summer series for 2026, and I'm here with my friend David Witbeck, who's the featured artist this week. Hey, David, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, John. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you. Um, so I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and some of them are going to be a little prying, and trying to coax some interesting stories out of you because I know you're full of them. Here's my first question: something people would never guess about you.
Probably. For 6 years, I was a Teamster driving tractor trailers.
Really?
Yeah, 1975 to 1980.
I believe you told me that once before, but it is so many years ago that I'd forgotten that detail. How many years have we been doing this together?
It's been probably about 15, I
I
think.
think
Has
it's
it been
probably
that
about
long?
15
Yeah,
years. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Is it, since we're talking about things you do in your life other than paint paintings, is it true that you're not a fisherman?
It's very true that I'm not a fisherman.
Yeah.
I do eat clams on a regular basis.
Yeah, that I knew. That I
Yeah.
knew. But do you lack the patience? That's my problem with fishing.
Yeah, that had something to do with it. And then it's just, the blood and guts on the boat and
Mm.
stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm good with going catching. Yeah, it's just fishing that I don't like.
But I haven't, and the paintings are pretty much based on the several times I've been on commercial fishing boats.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. That's a story that I've heard before, but it's been a while. How did you start with this subject matter?
I've always been fascinated by commercial fishing. When I was a photographer, every now and then, just for the fun of it, I think about doing a photo essay on commercial fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I go out on draggers. Actually, I spent the better part of 2 Januaries on Monhegan photographing lobstering out, when they used to start in January. And then when I started painting, it was just a natural kind of transition to like, what am I going to paint? Fisherman.
Right, right. January on Monhegan. That's a fun time.
Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore. It used to be
Trap Day,
January
right.
1st, and the season was January 1st to the end of June, I believe. And it was a really big deal that the whole community got together and everybody helped each other to get ready.
Right.
And I had seen a picture story in National Geographic about this when I was a kid, and then when I became a photographer, it's one of the things I really wanted to do. So January of 1980, I went out there and shot it just for myself in black and white. And then I pitched a story to Yankee Magazine, and they said, yeah, we haven't done that story in 10 or 12 years. I guess it's time to do it again. So they sent me back the following year to shoot in color. So
oh, neat.
Yeah.
Huh. And in a real way that was your beginning inspiration for this new subject matter. That 15 or 16 or I guess, gosh, you said 1980. That's 46 years ago.
I know. Well, 1984, yeah.
84,
but still,
42.
42 years.
Yeah.
Right, who's counting?
Yeah. What keeps bringing you back to the Maine waterfront? This inspiration that you share.
I just love the water. I just love the smell of the low tide and just the sounds. Maybe in a previous life I was a fisherman or something.
Back in the days of the make and break engine, the
pump, sail.
Yeah. So when did you first realize that this might become your career?
I thought it might be my career when I first got out of high school, and I went to art school in 1965. But then the art scene in New York, I went to Pratt in New York, and the art scene just seemed to be a little bit crazy. So then I thought photography made more sense. With getting on war protests and race riots and just doing nitty-gritty black and white photojournalism was what I wanted to do. And then after having become a photographer later in life, I just got tired of photographing business people and executives, and I hadn't painted in 35 years. I just thought I'd try it again. And then in 2006, I sold a bunch of paintings, and I thought maybe I don't need to be a photographer anymore.
There you go.
Yeah.
When was the first time you sold a painting? Was it then 2006?
Oh, the first time I sold a painting was would be in high school, but the first time I had any inkling that I could actually do it for a living was probably 2006.
20 years ago. 20 years ago. For many artists, that's sort of a late-ish start. You just had your 79th birthday, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been a late bloomer. I graduated from college when I was 35. I graduated from RISD when I was 35. So.
Interesting. So, another first question: when did you first realize that great art could be irreverent?
Well, I'm not prepared to say this is great art.
I am. I'm an authority on the subject, or I consider myself to be an authority on the subject.
I don't know. Well, I really didn't have anything that important to say, but I don't know. Well, maybe it's partly from driving a truck for 6 years. I worked with people that just the word art wasn't in their vocabulary.
Right.
So when I started painting, I wanted to do something that was accessible to
right.
everybody.
The proverbial working man.
Yeah. So it had structurally had composition and had some artistic qualities, but it was also not obscure.
Interesting. What do you hope people feel when they first see one of your paintings?
I like it when they smile. Pretty much, actually. Every now and then I get a message on Instagram or something from a commercial fisherman who just really loves, and that's very satisfying, much more satisfying.
So the subjects they feel familiar, but I know that they are imagined or constructs in a lot of cases that you come up with. How does that process happen?
Well, I don't do any preliminary sketching, and all the preliminary sketching I do on each piece is on the canvas itself. I just take a piece of charcoal and start drawing, and then we go out and draw some more until it looks right. And I usually start with just one big simple shape, and then add little details. Like the guy in the boat is just like one big shape, and that's where it starts. And then the little bits and pieces of lace and added in the background, rounded out. This, like they're all pretty much one big shape with this.
That I've always admired your sense of composition and the way that those big shapes relate to other shapes in the composition. Is that something that comes from your time as a photographer? The ability to create a composition.
Yeah. When I was a photographer, I was a freelance for 25 years, and I mostly worked just it was all on location, didn't do any studio work at that point, and it was all doing real people doing more or less real things in real time, and just getting the camera angle, just to get rid of uncomfortable overlaps, and especially in black and white when you're dealing with just value and not color. And the other thing that people always ask too is about the tiny heads and the big hands, and that comes from taking pictures of people working with their hands doing things, and then you're getting in really close with a wide angle lens and just letting the rest of the body just
that foreshortening.
Foreshortening.
Is there a painting here in the spotlight that surprised you while you were creating it?
Well, no.
No? Well, there you go. That's a fair answer.
Well, maybe that one, that one over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Well, several years ago, and I think it was, again, we used one on the cover of the local paper too. I did a similar one for that. Yeah. And I had only done that theme maybe 3 or 4 times, and not in several years. So I just wanted to revisit some of my older paintings that, unlike the guy holding fish thing, that a little different. And so I started that one, and at some point I thought, it's just not right. So I just tilted the
leaned it over a little bit.
And I just.
Fisherman needs a diet.
Yeah, needs a diet, yeah. And just that little bit.
Well, also, maybe that's a heavy trap coming up on that side of the boat.
Yeah, so that was just kind of a little inspiration of just making it not quite vertical. It just surprised me how well it worked.
So over the years that I've represented you here, there have been many, many paintings that have featured, in some context, a solitary fisherman. But we have another guest in most of the paintings in this spotlight.
The gulls.
The gulls,
The
yes.
yeah, the gulls started taking over at some point.
Well, they do that. They do that naturally, don't
they? Yeah, they do. But, at some point, I used to just name the fishermen. Mm-hmm. There's just a guy's name. But people would sometimes ask me, "Oh, is the name for the fish or for the guys?" So who names fish? It's for the guy. But then people would sometimes ask, "Oh, is that the gull's name too?"
That's funny. That's funny. The naming of your paintings. We've sold a few hundred of your pieces over the years. How hard is it to come up with names? I mean, when you're out in the field getting inspiration for the works, when you hear a cool name, do you take out your phone and put it on a list? I mean,
sometimes I do that. Actually, when the very first ones I did at the fisherman with red hat, fisherman with orange shirt, things like that, and then. In 2006, Barbara and I, we went to Sweden for a couple of weeks with friends, and when we got back, I was talking to the people that we had been there with, and talking about naming fishermen. They said, "Well, how about Scandinavian names?" So for a while, I was naming them Sven, and I don't know, whatever.
Right.
And then when I ran out of Scandinavian names, just downloaded a list of boys' names from the web. Just scrolled down there.
I remember a funny conversation a few years ago where you delivered a painting, and I can't remember the fisherman's name, but let's say it was Abner. Mm-hmm. And I said, "David, we've already had an Abner." And you said, "No, you haven't." I said, "Yes, we have." "No, you haven't." And I had to go to the database to prove it to you. And then we had to come up with a different name, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Well, for a while, too, I was looking through Ruth Moore, who was a great Maine writer. She has this wonderful sense of place and stuff. But sometimes in reading her books, I'd write down one of the names of her characters.
Right. Stephen King might also be a good source for that.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Something I like to call the speed round. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'm looking for a quick answer. I did this last week with William Hoyt.
It sounds like
it was hard. It was hard to get a quick answer.
Okay.
Let's see how you do. Let's see.
Held to that answer?
Well, it's going to be out on the internet, so
okay.
And everything on the internet is true. So, fog or bluebird sky?
Oh, fog.
I knew you'd say that. Lobster boat or schooner?
Wow, that's a tough one. Lobster boats are easier. You have to deal with the rigging and stuff, but I love schooners as well.
Yeah. Okay, I'll accept that answer.
College roommate from when I went to Pratt, Doug Lee.
Quick answer.
Quick
no, go ahead. Tell the story.
Okay,
Tell the story.
Okay. Well, I lost contact with Doug when I ran off to Rochester and got married and had kids and stuff. But then in 1983, I was looking at Wooden Boat magazine, and on the cover of Wooden Boat magazine was this launching of this new schooner, the Heritage. And that was my roommate from college.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so Barbara and I would sometimes go up on Sundays when he did Sunday day sales early in when the schooner was new. And we'd be his fill-in crew. So
that's cool.
Love of schooners.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, I've done a little bit of that here in town myself as a way of getting. It's been a few years, but to try to get my brain shut off from doing this all day long, to go just crew on a schooner for a while. So I get that.
And again, I think my love of Maine started probably when I'm trying to guess, maybe I was 10 or 11 or 12. First time we came to Maine as a kid. My parents weren't ocean people, they were lake people. So I rented a place up on Lake Cobbassaconee, but we did a day trip one day and we drove along Route 1. And I remember crossing the bridge at Wiscasset when the Hesper and the Luther Little, these four-masted schooners
were still there. Yeah, I remember.
And then we drove down to Booth Bay Harbor where there were like 4 or 5 five-masted schooners abandoned there. And I don't know, ever since then I've had this passion for schooners. So.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been in Maine long enough myself to remember all of those, and now they're gone. But all right, next question. We probably have established the answer, but I'm going to ask it: harbor gulls or harbor seals?
Gulls.
Yeah, okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Coffee.
Most of them are sunrise.
Yeah. Coffee, iced coffee, or something stronger?
Well, coffee in the morning.
Of course.
Something stronger in the evening.
You and I have that in common. What's the most used color in your palette?
Probably ultramarine blue.
Ultramarine blue. How many brushes do you own?
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds.
Every time I go to the store to get anything else, I will grab a couple extra brushes. So I have 2 big jars just stuffed full of brushes.
Yeah. What's your biggest distraction in the studio?
Unfortunately, lately it's been doom scrolling.
I suffer from that too, and I have to forcibly make myself put my phone down. Yeah, I get it. Is there a painting you wish you still owned?
There are several. I'm trying to think specifically. Yeah, I can't think of one.
Okay, all right. What's the strangest thing that ever happened to you while you were out gathering inspiration?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Strangest thing. Well, I don't know if I was gathering inspiration, but this winter when I was painting, I was in the middle of a painting. It may have been that one over there. I started smelling smoke and hearing sirens from the building across the street from my studio and burst into flames.
Oh, wow. that is strange. Other than the paintbrushes we just talked about, is there another tool in your studio that you couldn't live without?
Well, my easel. I have this fabulous easel. Well,
what makes it fabulous?
Up and down and sideways, and it's just it's all counterbalanced and everything.
Wow. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Sounds over and above most of the easels that I see in an artist studio.
It is. I bought it after I did a pair of 4-foot by 6-foot paintings on a regular easel, and since I bought it, I've never painted anything that big again. So.
Who's your favorite artist of all time?
Oh, Charles Birchfield.
Charles Birchfield.
Charles Birchfield.
Can you elaborate?
Charles Birchfield did these wonderful. I mean, he's kind of a one-of-a-kind kind of artist. He's not categorizable or whatever categorizable. These made-up compositions based on natural. He'll paint the sound of wind and butterflies and the buzzing of bees. It was just a fabulous. You know Charles Birchfield, don't you? Okay. Yeah. He's undescribable.
You guys are smarter than me. Clearly, I have to go Google Charles Birchfield.
He's kind of obscure. He was, he's American, first half of the 20th century. He probably painted up until the 60s or something. But yeah,
right.
Without a doubt, my favorite.
Right. So I have some Googling to do. Yeah. Artist who's inspired you the most?
Well,
not Charles Birchfield.
No, I would love to be able, but no, it's. Well, the one that inspired me to actually start painting was, I can remember his name. Yeah, one of his paintings in our house.
No, I get it. 79. So I'm at 59 and I do it every day.
Leo Brooks.
Leo Brooks. There we go.
Yeah. Years ago, he's just an old guy retired from, he was a typesetter or something in a newspaper, and he did some watercolors. He did these just very childlike paintings of guys holding fish and things like that. And in probably it was 1990, we bought one of his watercolors, and it's I've been on the living room ever since.
Cool. If you weren't an artist at this point in your life, if you weren't an artist, what would you be?
I would love to build small wooden boats. Actually, the very first time I was in here in Kennebunkport. We had a dory built at the landing school.
Interesting. Is that the one you still have?
No, we sold that several years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, if your work had a soundtrack, what would it be?
It would be the rushing of water and the crying of gulls.
Interesting. Most people go to music.
Yeah, no, it would be natural sounds. I think maybe the putting of the diesel engine.
Those old one-liners that you still occasionally hear. Is there music playing when you're in your studio? Yeah,
but it's really eclectic. Yeah, often the music, sometimes from John Prine to Vivaldi, just completely whatever I feel like at the moment.
Yeah, you and I share that too. So a little bit about the work in the show. what is it that excites you about this collection here right now?
Well, it always looks much better here than it does in my studio.
I think you've said that every time that we've hung a show for you over the years. Yeah.
And when I look at it, I think I can find flaws and everything, and then when I don't see it for several weeks, and then it's not so bad after all. I just what excites me about it? Well, I don't know what excites me most about it, but one of the things I've done differently this year is I changed, for many of these, I've changed the normal palette that I use. And just a, like basically a 4 or 5 color palette, which is with brighter colors than I usually use, but you wouldn't know that because when they're all blended together, they form very shades of gray anyway.
Sure. Interesting. You say shades of gray. I see wonderful layering of colors that you get some neutral results, but I wouldn't call them gray at all. They are colorful. There's a richness of color that when you just sort of study one of the pieces that you see, even though it might come off as gray or calm.
Neutral,
and it's very, very well executed. Is there a painting here that's your favorite?
I would probably say this guy here.
Can you elaborate?
Because he's basically about shape and composition, and I have a little sign in my studio that says "shapes, not things," and so I want them. The shapes represent things, but I want them to be mostly about the shape.
On more than one occasion, I have taken one of your paintings off the wall in the gallery to illustrate the quality of your compositions, and what I will actually do is take the painting and turn it 90 degrees or 180 degrees.
Does
and
that
just
work?
Well, from a point of view of being able to just consider the way all the shapes interact with each other, it really shows how much composition plays in what you do. You have this fabulous subject matter that obviously works well for Maine Art Hill. I know for any gallery in Maine, but it is a vehicle to show the quality of the composition in my mind. And if you look at it at a different angle, you can really appreciate how much composition really matters in your paintings.
Basically it's about the composition.
Right.
Well, it's about the subject matter, of course, but then the composition is equally important.
So what's next for you that nobody's seen yet?
Well, I've been taking a break from painting since April or May, and going to be doing some wood cuts and linoleum cuts, and
which you can view on Instagram Live at 3 o'clock this afternoon, because he's going to be doing a demonstration for us, as a matter of fact. Thanks for the segue. I appreciate it. All right, so just a couple of closing questions. What do you hope people feel living with your paintings?
I hope it brightens up their day whenever they walk into the room.
That smile that you hope, smile reaction you hope to get.
And I hope they appreciate, the artistic quality of it too, the composition and such. But basically, if it makes them smile, that's enough.
Why do you think your paintings are able to make people smile?
Well, partly because of the distortion. Partly, because of the silly goals.
What do you hope visitors take away from this summer spotlight series? The reason I ask the question is I know that
other than 10 paintings,
other than paintings to go home with. I know that you really sort of carefully considered this group of paintings, and that you were trying to go in an evolutionary direction. Do you feel you've achieved that?
Yeah, looking around, I think I did. I think they most of them, relate in some way to each of the others. I started out doing the chestnuts, the lobsterman, the fisherman, and I climbed there. But I just want to keep going with that. But I think, the lobsterman relates to that. They'll have something that connects them to each other.
So those 3 cornerstones to me are sort of a jumping off point for expanded subject matter. I think that's a good place to close. I am really happy to have you here, my friend. It's been great interviewing you.
It's been a great 15 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. Maybe we do 15 more.
So, yeah.
Good. I'm excited to share this. May we make it that?
That's 94.
I would like to make it 15 more myself, and I'm 59. So we'd love to have an opportunity to share this spotlight with you. David's work is on display from 10 to 5 each day, from today, Saturday the 26th, through next Friday. Come in and say hi, come see the work, and if you're available today, Saturday, there are a lot of things going on that David will take part of. We'll be doing another interview live at 1 o'clock on Instagram. And we will also have the demonstration that I mentioned a little bit earlier. So we're here. Come see us.
Thank you.